Cherie of the elcheriealert.com, and it is another beautiful Sunday for another Sunday special. And I'm very excited today. We have a real musical genius. Guest is none other than Enns, and he is a record producer. He's a mixer, an audio engineer, and he's also the owner of Crown Studios. I met him actually at I think it was a listening party, and I was very intrigued because I had no idea who this man was. I saw him vibing and everything, and I'm like, who is that cat over there? You know, I pretty much know a lot of people in the music industry within the city of Jackson, but this was one person that I didn't know much about. So I actually went over to him. If you know who I am, I'm not too shy. I am shy, but if I want to know something's intriguing me, then I'm gonna go for it. So I kind of wanted to know more about him and his dealings. I'd heard about him, but I hadn't actually met him. So it was a great opportunity to kind of chat with him, to talk to him a little bit about what he's been doing and how he's been involved in a lot of the major artists' music that you know about and may not have any idea that he was a part of their projects. So how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for letting me be here.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm excited. I'm really excited to get a chance to talk to you. And you're in the studio, huh?
I am. I'm here at Crown.
So, I love it. It looks all professional. Got the whatever that screen thing is in the background. I don't know what that stuff is. Now, which is sad because I used to be an announcer on WJSU, so I should really know what all that stuff is.
Well, that's really okay. Truth is, I'm still just faking it, but don't tell anyone. So
don't tell nobody. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. So, how are you doing?
I'm doing really good. Good.
I gotta turn this fan on. 1 second. I'm about
Go
to burn
for it.
it.
I got the one here blazing. It's like going 90 miles an hour right now. So.
Like, I thought I would stay inside this time. The last couple of Sundays, I was trying to be bold, be in the sunlight, be out natural and stuff. No, that wasn't happening today. It's
hot.
too hot. It's hot for no reason.
We just went for a walk actually just before the interview, and I had to go run home and change. we were pretty drenched. It's hot out there.
Yeah, it's real hot. I said I was gonna ride my bike, but I might wait till the sun actually goes down because
that's a good point.
I'm not doing it. But thank you so much for allowing me to speak to you today. I know you would probably, when you first met me, was like, this chick is crazy. What she want with me?
No, thank you so much. And honestly, I heard that intro, and I've got a lot to live up to now. So thank you very much.
Oh man, whatever. You've already lived up to it, and I'm sure you're gonna be doing more. So to kick everything off, you said you heard the intro. So the first time I remember actually talking to you was, I think, at 4th Avenue.
Yeah.
For Dear Silas's which album? What was that? The latest one, right?
Yeah, Plus Ultra.
So
yeah,
I was there at that event.
Wasn't there there was that really cool chair that was over in the corner, and we were talking about it. It's like a bubble chair or something.
Yeah, like the little egg bubble chair in front of the greenery.
Yeah, that's
the little backdrop thing. Yeah, that's the photo spot in 4th Avenue.
Yeah. So
shout out to 4th Avenue.
For real.
But yeah, that was really cool because I was like, who's this kid over here just vibing and stuff? Like, I don't know who this person is because I'm nosy, so I'm looking around to see who I know, who I don't know. But I'm also looking at it as an opportunity for me to network. I'm really big on networking, and I don't know why I do that in places like that when the music is super loud, because I'm like all up in folks' ear trying to talk.
There were so many cool people there, so you had
it was.
Yeah.
It was. So that was a really cool event. So that's when we first actually met. I'd heard of you, or I think I've seen you before at another private listening party, but I think I ran out of there pretty quick. I had somewhere else to go or something like that. But it was really cool to get a chance to meet you, and that actually stuck with me, the conversation that we had. And I was like, this dude is, why? This is my first time hearing about him. Like, why I didn't know anything about him? So I thought that was really really interesting. And when I realized all the people that you've been working with, I was like, oh snap.
Thank you.
Like I listened to this music.
Yeah.
Dude did a good job, you know, so that's so you don't have much to live up to. You're already doing it. So, you know.
Thank you.
Give yourself some kind of credit. But I have a few questions, just a few that I really wanted to ask you. And just starting off to kick the conversation off, I wanted to talk more about your journey into how you got where you are right now. How did you get to that seat?
Definitely. For me, it's kind of like I always talk about it like you know how you don't remember learning to speak your first language? That's kind of how I feel about music. I don't really remember a point where I started to play music or write music. It just kind of always was there. So the process really kind of is, it would take us all day just to talk about it, probably, because it's the same story that I've grown through. I feel like everything I've gone through directly has affected my music. So hopefully that's not too broad. Maybe that answers.
No. So I think that a lot of things, and I actually was talking about this last Sunday with the guest that we had on here last Sunday, Dominique, how things in your life kind of position you to a certain place, or destiny or purpose.
Yeah.
Everything that we go through, actually, you have to get through it in order to get to where you're supposed to be going. And it may not make sense. What's that? It's a cliche type thing, but it's like a graphic that shows you a straight line. You know, that's our brain thinking, okay, all we gotta do is this, and we're gonna go straight there. When in reality, we're gonna go here, 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 here. You're like all over the place until you really find which way you need to actually go. But all of those bumps in the road, or all of those experiences, or people that you meet, is just leading you to exactly where you're supposed to be. So I totally understand what you're saying there.
I would love to kind of jump off of that. I think for me personally, I grew up in Papua New Guinea. It's just north of Australia. And so my family moved to the US in 2006.
Oh.
So I've got to experience a lot of different things, even from having that cultural change to living in different places, like within the US even. And I think that definitely, like all the different cultures that I've gotten to be kind of immersed in, I think all of that has definitely informed my musical taste, and that, you know, they're very hand in hand. So the way, you know, getting to this chair where I'm blessed to work on any number of genres, like a ridiculous amount of genres on a given week, and I just love it. I love that. But that definitely, I think, comes from having grown up in so many different, like, cultural spaces to get to here.
That's really cool. I think it adds a different type of element to your craft as well. You know, having those different experiences and being exposed to different cultures, that's actually pretty unique. I didn't know that. So that just messed me up a little bit.
Well, I didn't
know that, but that's kind of cool. That's
I
cool
really love that. It's a big part of my life, and I've been in the U.S. longer than I was in New Guinea, but it definitely, you know, that my time there really shaped me in a major way. So, you know, it really affected my worldview, I think. And I went to an international boarding school when I was there, and all of that, I think, really helped me develop into what I am now. And I really appreciate having that opportunity.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you talked about working with different genres of music and things like that. Do you have a favorite?
I really love music that makes you feel something, and so it really doesn't matter. You know, I think different genres maybe tap in predominantly into certain types of feeling, but even that's hard to nail down. So I really don't mind. It doesn't bother me, you know, the instruments we're using, or whether or not we're tracking live, or are we programming things, or all of that. It really only matters to me that when we hit play, do we feel something? Does it, like, affect us emotionally? That's kind of, if music can do that, then I feel like I can vibe with it, and then I feel like I can work on it, put my soul into it. So that, to me, it just comes down to if I can feel it.
And I've heard you have a reputation that you're not going to stop until it's right.
Oh,
You're going to definitely make sure that no, it's got to have something else. Or, no, I'm not feeling it just yet. Let me keep working on it. So I've heard that about you.
well,
So
not sure.
you're somewhat of a perfectionist, huh?
I think,
You're laughing because you know it's true.
I feel like I really do believe that when we're making a record and I'm teamed up with an artist and we're really like, we're making something that's timeless in my opinion. And that's kind of what we are doing. And so it's not that it has to be perfect to me. I don't know that perfection is really ideal.
Mm-hmm.
I think, what's beautiful is the pursuit of excellence and that we try to be excellent in what we're doing. And so I work really hard as sort of a way of life for me. I want it to be the very best. I don't want us to put out a record as good as another record. Like I want us to win. If we've teamed up and the artist is pouring their soul into it, I'm going to bring all of me into it as well so that we can win. That is a big deal for me.
Yeah, and I understand. I'm picking with you, but I totally understand that because I'm kind of the same way. To me, there's again no real such thing as perfection.
Right.
Nothing's perfect, but when you feel something when you know it's right, when you know you've completed it, like there's nothing else you can do to enhance it. If you even try, you're gonna screw it up. So it's like when you get to that point, it's a thin line for me. When you get to that point, drop it, Cherie. Don't do anything else. You're gonna mess it up. So I totally understand that, and it's funny because I was on Crown Studios website, and what I like the most is the comments, the testimonials, and one that stood out, which was fairly quick, and I'm gonna read it. It says, Shell mixed and co-produced my latest album, and I can honestly say that his passion for music is off the charts. And the reason why they stood out to me the most is because I was like, see, I knew he was a perfectionist. Because I'm like reading the comments and I'm like, this guy really, you're very like humble and modest about the work that you're doing. I'm like,
thank you.
Do people know outside of Mississippi, like what you're doing here, the impact that you're making here with your music? Do they realize that? Or we need to do better with putting you out there?
I would say, well, thank you for saying that. That's very kind. I really believe in when we make great work and great music that touches people and people feel it. We shouldn't have to. Hang on, I've got something that I've actually been thinking on a lot as a thought. I'm gonna try to like put it into a sentence. I don't want to be interested in and I don't want to look like we are excellent. I just want to be excellent. Like, does that make sense? Even down to when we make these records, like they're great, but they're not great for having come out of Mississippi, or they're not great records because they're records made in the U.S. or they just need to be great records, in my opinion. They need to be
great,
timeless, and we just let the music do the talking. So
I love that. And see, there's a difference between I just want to be good enough to say that we come out of Mississippi, look, boom, this is what we were able to do, versus no, this is just good music, good quality music, good quality mixing and producing. This is good work that's coming out of Mississippi. It just so happens to come out of Mississippi.
Right.
So I do admire that. And I can hear that in the different types of with the different artists that you've worked with. You can literally hear that. And what I've been trying to do, and I'll say this, and I haven't quite pinpointed yet, but everybody has a fingerprint in their work, and I'm really trying to figure out yours. So I was like, because I actually study people, so I'm like, let me try to figure out this man's fingerprint. So if I hear an artist, out there, I can say, I already know who did that. I already know. But I love that, again, that you've worked with so many different artists and all these different cultures and genres and all of that. But where I guess this would probably tie back into your journey into music. It's like your passion for it. Where did all this passion come from?
Maybe maybe it was instilled to me at a young age. Maybe something in the tribe where I grew up, or maybe something my dad said. But I just try to live that way in a holistic sense. I
Mm.
can't point to. I had a coach in college that I played soccer for school. And I had a coach in college that said. Uh, he said, Shell, the people who will be the most successful in life aren't going to be excellent at just the things they want to be excellent at. They're going to be excellent at all the things in their life.
Right.
And so that really stuck home. And I guess I try to live that way, but having somebody put something into like a succinct thing that's easy to remember is helpful for me. So, the passion is, maybe part of that comes from how God made me, but I definitely try to live where I try to, if I'm going to commit to doing something, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. That's a way that I try to live.
Yeah, and I think that's part of your fingerprint. Because I think that's what, if I was an artist, because I'm not, okay, but if I was an artist, just listening to you and how you are very particular about making sure that it's done right, I would be more comfortable working with you. And I'm sure that is probably part of the reason why you have so many different artists working with you, and why people trust, coming to you, coming to your studio even, to put things that's a passion for them, to lay those tracks down. So I think that's pretty awesome. I'm assuming that you have some. Yo, I'm a fan of y'all. That's
I'm
funny
a
place.
fan of Chuck. That guy can take incredible.
Chuck is a beast.
Yes,
Chuck, I need to holler at you.
he's good.
But yeah, and we're a fan of yours because you're amazing. But I'm assuming like your influences, your passion, like you said, you just feel like God just made you that way. Were there any was there any kind of influence like in your tribe or through your family? Do you have a musical artist in your family or anything like that?
I think I definitely, I grew up playing soccer, and so it was the passion and the joy of the game. All that's kind of tied together. Maybe that had something to do with it. As far as inspirations go, I really look up to a producer and engineer named Al Schmidt.
Al Schmidt.
He's somebody I really, really respect, and I haven't got a chance to meet in person, but I'd love to someday. He's really cool, and I respect his philosophy. I think I draw the most from his philosophy and his approach. And then I think my dad definitely shaped a lot of my views. He was a lot of things that at the time you think, oh man, this is not great.
Right.
But later you look back, things like, working really, really hard for like $1, and you might work the whole day and get $1, and you can go spend that $1 on the Coke machine or something. But just that mentality of, I think I do owe a lot to him for that.
Yeah. That's my daughter. But so I think like for me and some of the artists that I've talked to, let me stop putting myself in a category of an artist, but some of the people that I've talked to who are artists,
It sounds like
have,
is what I'm hearing. You keep talking about
say what now?
We need to make your record is what it sounds like.
Well, you know what's funny
Let's do it.
Dear Silas made me an album cover yesterday. He was being funny.
That's
He's
about.
terrible.
Let's do it.
He's wrong for that too. He made an album cover out of one of my pictures. And I said I look like I'm about to spit something real hard on this beat, but you don't want to hear that. Trust me, you don't want to hear it. But I love music though. I do. I love music. I love being around artists and stuff, and I just it's fun. I love it. I vibe with different genres as well, but I think it's just something poetic about it. Being able to tie all these different things together and pull it out of yourself, like thoughts, and poems that you put to music. That's kind of how I think of music. So it's really I don't know, it's therapeutic. It encompasses everything that's going on in our times, and it's just so much that I tie into music. And so I think it's really, I don't know, I think the work that you do is very important, and people may not see it the way I see it, or maybe may not see it the way you do, but I think it's very important because it also captures history. It captures current times. It captures the thoughts and feelings of the people, or that person, or of a situation. It could be someone's therapy, help them through a rough time, or whatever. So music is everything.
I believe
it really is. So like what you do, I feel is really, really important. And I know you've worked with, let me find my list of artists. Now, the list that I have, so you've worked with Big Crit, one of my favorites. Of course, my dear friend, Dear Silas.
Yeah.
Ryan Warnick, Paige Deneen, Wes Walker, Kickin, Terrence Evans, Seth Power. What is that? Ari?
Air.
The Air. Just Air.
Just Air. She's very talented. I love Air's music.
Sounds like she's dope. Sounds awesome. I like that. Nikki Boaz, Rita Brent. Did you have something to do with them hoes?
I had not that one. I worked on the quarantine, the quarantine shuffle.
Okay. Yeah. And Chris Valentine. And so that's just the list that I have. But it's like you have worked with all of these are different. It goes from one spectrum to the other. And I guess I don't know how the producing thing works, but how do you shift from one hat to the next? Like, how do you do that? What does that process look like?
Some of it's probably conditioning, having done it for a number of years, and maybe some of it is maybe I'm ADD and it's helpful for me to jump around. I think no matter how much I'm excited about a specific style, like I might burn out if I worked in one lane too long, probably.
Mm-hmm. And then it would probably sound the same, because it doesn't sound the same.
Thank you.
So that's a good thing. So like I said, I'm gonna find that fingerprint. I'm gonna figure out what that is.
Let me know when you do. I can change it up. So.
I gotta crack the code, dude. I cracked it. So that's really cool. But how many of these artists, besides these, or how many different artists have actually, or that you know of or remember, have actually laid down tracks in Crown Studios?
Oh man. I don't know that I could put a number on it. We've been doing this for several years, so it would be really hard for me. I will say maybe less than a typical commercial facility, and probably less than a lot of producers and engineers, just because the way I like to work would be with a smaller group of people more for them. So but even still, it's a pretty large group at this point, and I feel very blessed.
Yeah, absolutely. So when did Crown Studios open?
The official LLC was in 2015. So and then before that, about 5
years. Yeah, that's awesome. So what's within everything that you're doing, the music that you're putting out? I do want to bring this up because of everything that's going on right now. So with all of the I guess racial division, the climate of racial injustices, music has always throughout history played a big role, especially in Black culture. It's always played a big role in what's going on at that particular time. You have the whole Marvin Gaye, you have even Tina Turner, and I mean, the list just literally goes, those just happens to be my favorites, but the list just goes on and on all the different artists, musicians that put things out to talk about what was happening in the culture. Like, how does, with everything that's happening right now, like, do you feel music is still important to playing or within that role of telling the history of what's happening in the culture and climate today?
Yeah, I 100% would resonate with that. hmm I think I think it's critical. It's almost like it's a way that we can process some things, I think. And then it's
Mhm.
also, at times it can be healing, and at times it can be informative, and it's music, so it can be a lot of things to a lot of different people. But I think, from the simplest form of self-therapy to maybe a very wide-reaching form of hopefully empowerment, and maybe even educational, or it could touch a lot of people and be influential, or it could be for the purpose of whoever wrote it to get something that they needed to say out. So I don't know that personally I would value either one of those any more or less. I think the value of music is intrinsic within music itself almost. And so in times like these, it can be incredibly helpful. And I would definitely say it has a lot of value right now. Definitely.
Yeah, and what struck me, of course, being a black female and everything that's happening right now, a lover of music, I've literally been listening for artists to put that stuff out, like what's going on, you know? And one of the things that made me like literally jump with excitement was when Dear Silas re posted, I'm saying reposted, but he put out a different mix of Gullah Gullah Island.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you worked on that. Um,
That was before he and I worked together,
yeah.
actually.
Okay. Okay. So that when he put that out, if you know about Gullah Gullah Island, it just basically talks about a place where black people are basically in their own little world, and there's no gun violence, there's no violence of any sorts, and there's no injustices going on. People are watching their own kids and watching, taking care of each other, and everybody's doing well. It's a fantasy land. It's a place where it's the place of, or our version, Black America's version of America, of what America could be for us. And so him putting that out really, and then he had slowed it down, so it really kind of,
Mm-hmm.
it actually brought a few tears to my eyes, because I was like, man, like singing it before, it has a different feeling when it's slowed down and it's, you can directly relate it to what's happening in today's world. And I just think that it's important. I believe wholeheartedly that it's important that artists continue to put out music to share. To me, it's history. It tells the raw truth of what's going on and how we can overcome it, how we can unite together, to defeat different things like that. So it's just, I think it's very telling of the times, and I just kind of wanted to know what you feel about that and how it maybe is affecting you as a producer. Like,
Yeah.
how you able to focus on um, the product or even the artist during times like this? I mean, I don't know your personal feelings on everything that's going on, but I can imagine, you dealing with all these different people.
Mm-hmm.
What type of, and it could very well be an uncomfortable situation at times, dealing with different artists, not sure what they're thinking, how they think you may view them, vice versa, so I'm wondering, like, how does that work with you as a producer? Like, how are you able to push and do what you need to do and work with these artists, letting them know, hey, I'm here for the music.
Yeah, I think it's Elstree. That's. I'm glad that we're talking about this. It's awesome that you brought it up. Um, I think it's a heavy issue in terms of the weight of its importance, but to me, it's a light issue in terms of the response that we should have. And what I mean by that is, um, it's it's hard to. I think it's hard for us to let ourselves be vulnerable and to enter into certain conversations. But I think whether or not it's right to do that or not is light, in the sense of like it light from like it's not not a hard decision to know that you should. It's a hard decision sometimes to do the things that we need to, but I think the easy choice is to know that you should do, you should enter the conversation. So, to unpack that as an example, there are, occasionally times where, we may even just hit the space bar and not record, and just talk about, things that are going on, or talk about, behind the lyrics, what we're going for, or talk about the weight of what we're dealing with. So that the easy thing that I think people miss out on, because maybe they think, oh, it's easy, I could just have this conversation, later. So they think it's too easy, maybe, to think that stopping in that moment will make a difference. But the truth is, it's a heavy topic that demands that we take those little moments. And if a moment presents itself for us to like dig in and talk about something, or to address an issue, like we really should. And I try really hard to make sure that the space that we're in is a space where everyone can feel very comfortable and can feel safe to be vulnerable, to talk about what they're feeling and what they're thinking, and anybody that is interested in like working within a community like that, like they can find a safe place to work here. And I'm very careful with who I partner with to make music, so I've never had an issue where I've had to like end a session because of something that was out of control. Or I've never had that, just because I try to be really careful about who I'm working with on the front end. And I don't know if that's helpful.
No, that's very important too. And I think vice versa, that's important. The artist should know who they're working with, who's producing their music, they're, even if it has to go to, what's their theories on life, because you need to know who you're pouring your heart and soul out to.
100%. And we get there almost in every session. I mean, I don't think there's a single session or project that we've worked on that I've been a part of that at some point we haven't got to the deeper issues of, how do we feel about, faith, or how do we feel about, people and God, and how we're called to live. I think part of what I love so much about being a producer is getting the chance to have these really deep, heart-to-heart conversations and soul-to-soul conversations. And I think part of my hope is that, or my philosophy is that, when we start to do the little things, like if someone drops their pen and you bend over and pick the pen up for them, and looking people in the eye and treating everyone with honor and integrity, when we do all these little things, those little things compound, and then we turn around and we've made a better world. And so, those kind of conversations, they happen all the time, and I highly encourage them. I'm always a fan of, part of why I like making records at Crown is because some of the pressure's off. We're in a house. The whole studio is like inside in the house, and I like to take my shoes off and walk around with my socks on, and if we're into some heavy stuff and we need to take a 15-minute break and make a cup of tea and just talk about it, that we have the space to do that. And that's kind of how I try to approach it.
I like that. That's really awesome, and I agree 100% what you said about the little things that you're doing. And Timothy Ori is on here. Shout out to Tim. He what do you say? Energy is transferable. Absolutely.
1,000%.
It really is. And it was funny because I think, what day was that? I think it was the start, that day where all the riots were happening. The start of them anyway. And someone had just blessed me just out the blue in my Cash App for absolutely no reason at all. So I was like, thanks.
Yeah.
Oh my God, So, and I'm tying this in. So what I did is I went to lunch, and it was just really on me very heavy to bless someone else, I'm always looking for sneaky ways to help somebody, because that's just me. I get a kick out of doing stuff and nobody knows me, and I get to run off and be laughing. I don't know why, but it's fun.
Yeah.
So I went to lunch and I sat, y'all, I should have went to Popeyes, but I went to Raising Cane.
Please don't
I
start
don't.
that. Don't get anywhere if you start that on.
I just Raising Cane just disappointed me. They need to put some salt somewhere in their chicken. I don't understand. Okay, that's besides the point. So I'm sitting in Raising Cane line for about 2 hours, and I get there and order my food, and then I get to the window to pay. And so they're standing outside with their mask and everything. And I was like, hey, look, get mine, put the guy behind me, um, put his food on mine too. And so I could tell, kept looking in the rearview mirror. So okay, that's a black guy. I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, who's behind me? I couldn't really see. I'm short,
Yeah.
I'm trying to look, doing all like that. It's a big old silver truck. I said, and I bet there's a big redneck sitting back there. It just looked like big redneck back there. So I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm gonna bless him too. So I paid for the person behind me and the person behind them. And it was so funny because the lady that she looked at me, she looked at the guys in the truck and in the car behind me.
Yeah.
She said, "Ma'am, are you sure?" I said, "Yes." I said,
Yeah.
"Whatever they bought, put it on my tab." And so she was like, "Okay." So she paid for it. She gave me a receipt for each one and everything. And I'm just laughing in my soul because I'm like, these folks gonna be like, who and why? And then I got Jackson State plates. So
Hey,
it was
virtual
just
right there.
liberating.
That's
So,
a virtual.
Air 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was just liberating. So
I think
pull
that's
off.
exactly the key. I think that is a prime example. If we,
Yeah, and it
so
was
loving.
so crazy. I wish I had my phone to get the face of the man in the truck, though. The guy in the car behind me blew the horn, was trying to get my attention. I was like,
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
hi, it kept going.
Yeah.
And the guy in the truck was like, just watching, was like, this little black girl just bought my food. It was funny. It was funny, but I got the biggest kick out of it. But that to me, and that's what I mean by, tying it in to what you were saying, it's the small things. But I was really led to do that. I really felt strong about doing that. I don't know, did not know those people, don't know what situation they were in, but the gratefulness that I saw in their faces was enough. And I tried to get out there as fast as I could. But it's just simple things like that to show, we're all human. We're all in this together. And we all deserve everything. We all deserve equality. We all deserve to be able to live freely, to be able to walk down the street, to jog up the street. We all deserve those things. And I was watching some documentaries on Hulu this morning when I should have been really like trying to figure out your fingerprint. And I started watching the rape of Reese Taylor. I think I said her name correctly. And this would happen like in, I think, the early 60s or something like that. And after that, it went to Michael Brown's case. And then I was like, what is going on Hulu? Well, why y'all messing up my life right now? We got enough going on.
Yeah.
But the thing that got me with Michael Brown is, the whole case was talking about him stealing the cigarillos and stuff from the store. But when they actually found what was in his pockets, it wasn't cigarillos. It was white pieces of paper with lyrics on it.
Wow. Yeah.
And I was like, dang, that's so crazy. And those lyrics basically were tying to some of his feelings and his thoughts and stuff like that. And so it's just music ties, and to me is linked to everything. Music is in, I think it's, I don't know, just in our DNA. We all, no matter where you go, no matter where you're from, you are linked in some kind of way to music. You're gonna feel something in music. And that's why I say the things that you do, the job that you do, you producing and the mixer and absolute, it is, it's a very intricate part of helping people tell the story. And I'm just gonna say it, I'm challenging you, not that you're not already doing it, but I'm challenging you to continue to work with these artists, continue to pour your genius out into their music to help them spread their messages, because it's what helps tell the story. You're not always going to get the full picture in the media, and that's one of the reasons why I love what I do. But I think the music tells a greater story, and it's timeless.
Yeah. Wow.
And so, yeah, I don't know why I'm just on that right now, but I just feel like it's very important. It's very important. So yeah, you being able to have those moments with the artist and it allow them to express their inner thoughts and be open with you, and them being comfortable with you, especially during, my mama is on here asking questions, especially during the times like these. It's gotta be, you know. And I honestly, I'm gonna back up. So Shell, I really was nervous about asking you about stuff like that, because I wasn't sure how you were gonna take it. I was like, oh God, I don't want him to think that I'm trying to ambush him or anything like that. Because I really do respect your work, period.
Thank you.
But I think it's important during times like this for people to know that, hey, I'm here for everybody. And I think we know that already, but I think in difficult times people shy away, they're afraid, they're not sure what to say or how to deal with the situation. But you already saying, you know, hey, this is an open opportunity, this is home. I love the fact that the studio is like a house, it's a home. Yes. So it's like you're welcome, and you don't bring anybody into your home either.
Right.
So I think that says a lot about who you are and your work ethic and what you're willing to put up with, you know, and all of that. So I totally understand that.
Thank you.
I don't know if you wanted to say anything after that.
I just want to thank you for asking that question and having this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. But I really was. I was like, oh Lord, he's probably gonna think I'm trying to ambush him.
No, not at all. I think it goes right back kind of what I was saying earlier a little bit with, you know, it's a heavy topic, but knowing whether or not we should talk about it, it's like, yeah, we should talk about it. And so it's just like, well, we enter into that vulnerability, and, you know, I really respect and appreciate you asking me that and giving me the chance to share speak my voice into it. So thank you.
Absolutely, you're welcome. So, and I think my mama has asked this question like 3 times now. What project are you working on? That was my question I was going to ask next, Mama.
We've got a lot of very exciting projects. Some of the stuff I can talk about, and some of it I can't.
Understand.
So that's a really hard question to answer. But I can tell you that I'm very excited, and I sound like a broken record, but I genuinely have never been more excited about the work that we're doing, and right here in Jackson. It's really exciting. There's some great records that are en route to you.
Absolutely. And you have people on here calling you the GOAT and everything.
Oh,
I agree. I really do, man. Like you have some really great music that you've put out with people, and I'm just excited. So because I know this artist, Dear Silas, not to, you know, throw anybody else to the side, but because I know this artist. So you worked on the full last artist for him, for Dear Silas?
The Last Cherry Blossom
and Plus Ultra. Okay, so Sailor Moon is my favorite.
Yeah, that's a good record.
I even bought a Sailor Moon t-shirt.
Yeah.
So I do love that. But the Last Cherry Blossom is really dope too. And yes, Mr. Shell, see that's Terrence Evans on here. How you doing?
Bishop, now that's the real GOAT right there. So.
And you know what? And I heard about him too.
He's
I've
the
heard
truth.
about him too. So might have to slide in them DMs and talk to you
Yep,
and see what you got going on.
you
But
should.
but yeah, like I just the music that you put out, everything is so like fresh, and not just with Silent stuff, but all these different artists. Like everything is so fresh.
Thank you.
Um, it. I know we said earlier there's no such thing as perfection, but it just sounds like perfection.
Wow.
It's like
Thank you.
it's ready for it's been ready for mainstream. I love the fact that you're, working with all these different artists, and this music is going out all over the country, all over the world. And just this little dude from Australia produced this music and nobody knew it. Like, what's going on? It's like, I don't know, like the Invisible Man or something, making dreams come true.
Elsri, I feel compelled to say this because it's the truth and it has to be said. I really am just ridiculously blessed to work with amazing talent. People
Absolutely.
do wonder, why Jackson. Man,
that was my next question.
I used to get it a lot, and the truth is, it's really not a tough decision. Statistically, I think you combine the next 5 states to get to as many Grammys as Mississippians hold. So, you combine New York, California, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas, or you combine the next 5, and that's as many. So, with the population of Mississippi being not huge, I have such great odds of having someone walk through the door that I get to work with that is at that caliber here, and I'm just blown away every single time by the caliber of artists that I get to work with, and really, they are the ones that deserve the credit for the great records, because they're all amazingly talented, and they deserve that shout out. So yeah,
dude, you're so humble. You're humble, and you're good. And what I love about it is, and I've been saying this because I'm not from Jackson either, but moving back to Mississippi, I'm from Mississippi, but I'm not from Jackson. So moving back to Mississippi in, I want to say 2003, 2004, from Illinois. And growing up where people are like, ain't nothing in Mississippi, y'all talk like this, all that crazy.
Some people though, but yeah.
It's in Illinois, it's Mississippi phase 2. For all y'all in Illinois, stop playing. Y'all roots is right here in Mississippi. Anyway, and you get your music from us. So, and that's one thing that I realized when I got to Jackson State campus is all of the talent. I don't know how many DJs I know that came out of Jackson State alone, and all the different artists that I had a chance to meet. I'm trying to think of one of them in particular, but he'll probably fight me if I say something, so I ain't gonna say that. But he's he's very humble, very strong vocal artist that I met at Jackson State, and there's so many others, and it's like, man, there's so much talent here. And for you, I really feel like you're in a great place where it's like you're at the end of the rainbow with all these different artists. You hit the pot of gold, because we have some really talented people here in this state, in this city. I just think it's absolutely amazing. Somebody just wrote a whole book on here. I'm from Mississippi, and I'm overjoyed that he gave me a chance to work with him. See what I'm saying? Take that compliment, man, and rub it. Rub it all in.
I'm gonna go red here. I mean,
don't be embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed. But really, I feel like you are in a good spot, and for you to have chosen to stay in Mississippi, to stay in Jackson, Mississippi, and to be here and be a part of making history, because that's what I look at it as. You're making history with these artists. So I think that's big, that's bold, and that's just really amazing, because so many people have overlooked artists in Mississippi, or Mississippi as a whole, And honestly, I think there's no better music coming from nowhere else. It's right here. I think people are starting to realize that right now. I really do. And then, whether you want to believe it or not, they still got you to thank for it, especially
Right.
those artists that you've been working with. So, you know, take it all in. Take it all
Thank
in. Are there any artists that you would like to work with that you haven't had a chance to?
Um, I, I feel like I would feel like that's a question that I don't think I would want to venture even close to. I'm sorry. There are so many amazing artists, and truthfully, like I really am blessed beyond measure. You know, as far as Crown goes, we're usually 3 months out as far as booking happens. So, you
Oh
know,
wow.
I love everybody that I get to work with. I'm so excited about the projects I'm in now. I am a little bit like a horse with blinders in the sense of if I'm working on something, I'm locked into working on that. But
Yes.
yeah, there are so many artists that I'm watching their careers, and I'm just blown away. And I know for a fact that there's incredible art, incredible music that's happening outside of anything that I'm touching. You know, there's amazing producers in this city and amazing.
Absolutely.
There's so much great music happening, and I'm just glad to be a part of it.
I love that. I love that. So, like, for real, thank you so much. Is there anything else you kind of want to share?
I really feel honored to get to have come on here and talk to you. So thank you so much. Thank you.
So, oh, you're welcome. But I'm gonna drill you much soon. A little later, yeah. I'm gonna drill you some more.
Okay.
But because I really want, I think it's really important. Um, and I'm just feeling this. Like you have to me, and I felt this when I first met you. I was like, this guy is very genuine. Like I really felt that. This dude is really genuine. There's no games about this. He's serious about his work, his art. Shout out to your wife. Because I know this got to be rough at times dealing with somebody who's stuck on music 24/7.
Yeah.
So shout out to her, bless her. But
yes,
we are very proud to have you here in Jackson, Mississippi, and helping along us telling our artists tell their story. So thank you for everything. We appreciate it. And just looking at the thread of the people who've been saying things like, dude, apparently you're the GOAT, okay? Apparently everybody needs and wants to work with you. You know, everybody's like grateful for the opportunities they've had to work with you. You're sincere. You're absolutely amazing. You got fans. This is great. So accept it, dude, and just accept it.
thank you.
Just accept it, and I look forward to figuring out this fingerprint and figuring out, you know, and hearing more of the work that you have coming out. Congratulations on everything that you're doing. I don't know if you have a Grammy in the works, but I'm pretty sure if you don't have one by now, it's on the way.
I didn't know that they let that, but
you're a part of it. You're a part of it.
No, we've got a couple projects that I think have earned it, and they're already out, and you can listen to them on Spotify. But we'll see when the rest of the world catches up to what we're doing here. I just can't stress how talented.
When the rest of the world catch up to what we're doing, I like that because that's what's happening, and I think they're paying attention.
I think they are too. I can feel the lens shift happening, and it's cool to feel that. And I do, you know, for everybody who's here, everybody I've worked with, I'm so thankful. I do want to say that for the chance to work with you on your music, and I believe in every project that I get to work on. And we really are writing the meta narrative for what's cool, and what this city is kind of going to be known for in a modern sense. We're writing that meta narrative, and so there's a lot of responsibility with that, and I really feel like we're stepping up to the plate, and I'm honored to be a part of that.
Awesome. Well, tell everybody, thank you again. That was great. Tell everybody how they can reach you, you know, how they can book Crown Studios, all that good stuff.
Definitely send me funny memes to my personal account. And then studio stuff, email is probably the best way. shell@crownstudios.co.
All right. Well, thank you again. Everybody, this was really cool. I'm so honored that he gave me this opportunity to dig a little bit into his life. Shell, it's been a pleasure. And whenever I decide to get that album put out, I'm coming to you first.
Let's do it.
You don't want it. I promise you don't.
I'm ready.
It'll definitely be comedy.
I'm ready.
Definitely. But thank you. God bless and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Tell your wife we said hello and continue to do what you do, sir, because you're doing a great job.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Austria.
All right, y'all. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.